Hello, I am so thrilled that you are taking the time out of your day to learn all about supporting your baby to better sleep without sleep training. My name is Hava and I'm the founder of Raised to Flourish. I'm a 2-time certified infant sleep educator and baby sleep specialist. I specialize in helping babies, toddlers, and their families improve overall well-being and get better rest for the entire family. Infant sleep can be one of the hardest, most confusing parts about early parenthood. Additionally, society has skewed our perception of what biologically normal sleep even looks like, which often leaves parents feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and confused, being told to go against their very instincts to nurture and be responsive to their little ones. I know how challenging it can be to navigate this season of life and find the path that works best for your unique family. In this workshop, we will be talking about how to truly understand your little one's sleep through a holistic, attachment-focused, and science-based lens. My approach is entirely holistic. When we look at sleep, we can't just look at the infant, but we need to look at the well-being of the entire family. A family is an interdependent unit, all co-regulating off of each other. We must look at the caregivers to ensure that your own well-being and self-care is being managed and optimized. At the root of it all, I truly believe that babies deserve nurturing care both day and night. Nurture in infancy promotes healthy brain development, and it sets up the neural circuitry that they will use for the rest of their life and will support their lifelong well-being. However, in today's society, it's become increasingly draining and even unsustainable for families to do so. Our culture is under a spell that says to go against your very instincts to nurture and be responsive to your child. Often told that they will create clingy, overly attached, overly dependent babies, when in reality, this just fulfills our infants' biological and attachment needs for closeness, safety, and security. The mental health of an infant is dyadic in nature, which means it is not just the infant, but it is the infant and the caregiver. Both must be supported to benefit the well-being of the entire family. This means in my approach to sleep, I look at the entire family with plans to optimize both mental and physical health and wellness through this challenging season and beyond. Let's start with attachment and connection. It is important to remember that your child's main job throughout the first year of life is to form a secure attachment with you. The way that your baby develops this secure attachment is through closeness, connection, and proximity. Attachment is the bond between caregiver and baby. It is built through warm, responsive, and sensitive nurturing and caregiving. Research has shown time and time again how important this attachment relationship is to the development and lifelong well-being of your child. The number one predictor of how well a child turns out is whether or not they have a secure attachment with at least one caregiver in their life. When our little ones know that they are our best beloveds, they feel secure and safe. When the caregiver-child relationship is positive and enriching, it nourishes the brain, promotes the secure attachment that is our goal, and dramatically reduces overall stress and anxiety. And not only in the child, but in the caregiver as well. We live in a society that is obsessed with independence, an ingrained fear of having our children too clingy, too needy, or too connected to us. We're constantly thrown the idea that children must be taught how to be independent and forced to be independent as early as possible. However, the missing piece of this conversation is that true independence only comes from a deep dependence in their caregiver. Independence is not actually something that can be taught, trained, or forced. It is a natural design that our children and infants want to be close to us, want to be connected to us. And from this comes true independence. You might hear from others that you shouldn't respond to your baby too quickly, that you may spoil them or create a clingy, overly attached baby. However, these statements couldn't be more wrong, built off of outdated behaviorist methods from over 100 years ago that have since been debunked and disproven. Your instincts are likely telling you to respond to your baby when they cry. Listen to this feeling. Instead, we need to tune into our child's attachment instincts, inviting them to depend on us and giving them even more than what they ask from us, providing them with that warm, sensitive, responsive care, more. And in this way, we take an entirely different approach to parenting. Children have this natural desire to be close to us, but when they feel safe and secure in that attachment relationship, they no longer search out that proximity and connection because they know that they can rest in it. And ultimately, this is what results in a more independent, securely attached, and confident child and human in the long run. It's important to realize that nighttime and sleep are one of the ultimate separations for our children. So often it is not when we are in sight or proximity to them. And even if we are in proximity to them, they still go into their unconscious, which is a level of separation. So using this as the foundation of understanding our children's sleep, we can support their need for connection and attachment, bridging the separation for our children, and ultimately providing them the safety and security that they need to go calmly into sleep. We don't just provide them the minimum of their needs, the basics of what they're asking, but instead we meet them with generosity. The key to building a secure, attached relationship is responsiveness, both day and night. Our little ones' needs don't just switch off at night, their needs remain. So responsiveness during nighttime is just as important as responsiveness during the day. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to run and jump at every little noise and squeak, or beat yourself up if you can't meet their needs perfectly every single time. It is not about perfection. No parent is perfect. And that is so okay. It is not about being a perfect parent, and there are so many ways to be a good enough parent. We are all doing our best, and that is certainly good enough. Instead, it is about our little ones building trust, knowing that their needs will be met. And when we do getting it wrong, being intentional about actively working to repair it. This is what fosters resiliency in the long run. It is not about us being perfect, but working and showing them that we are humans and that we will make the repairs. Children attach through the senses in their first year of life. So if they cannot see, hear, taste, smell, or touch us, they will naturally feel a sense of vulnerability. This is also why our little ones want to be close to us at all times and often protest that separation. This is normal and not an indication that you were doing anything wrong at all. But it is the design of humanity. Babies are innately dependent on their caregiver, and closeness and connection are one of their most innate basic needs. In many countries, mothers and babies are never expected to separate throughout the day or the night. They sleep on the mother's bodies for naps and next to her for nighttime sleep. It simply makes sense. Our little ones are born entirely defenseless, entirely vulnerable, entirely dependent on us. So of course they've evolved to need us to thrive when we are close by. And there are so many benefits for infants having their caregiver close by. Their parasympathetic nervous system turns on so that they feel safe. There is no fight, flight, or freeze. They receive multisensory input, which helps their developing brain. Oxytocin, which is the love hormone, promotes trust, empathy, bonding, and is stimulated. Their stress response and cortisol levels are regulated. They benefit from emotional contagion, which means they are influenced by the relaxed or sleeping body of their caregiver nearby. And then they feel similar feelings. They benefit from the mimicry of breathing and heart rate. Their heart rate is less variable. The brain waves can synchronize between baby and caregiver. All of these are significant benefits which should not be ignored. Closeness is an important part of normal, healthy infant sleep.